everyone, Ben from Snowboard Gamer. Welcome to episode 51 of This Week in Board Games. In this weekly show, I share with you all the games we played last week, go over any interesting board game news, and show any new purchases. I also do a spotlight on one game, and this week's game is a good one. I'm doing a spotlight this week on the game Star Wars Rebellion. If you're new to my channel, I also do monthly giveaways and monthly top 5 lists. So if you like board games as much as I do, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any content. Let's get right into the spotlight of Star Wars Rebellion. Star Wars Rebellion is for 2 to 4 players, ages 14 and up, and plays in 3 to 4 hours. Last week I did a spotlight on The Mind, which is a really lightweight 15-minute game. This week is a much heavier game, Star Wars Rebellion. In this game there are 2 teams, the Empire and the Rebels are trying to keep the location of the secret base hidden and survive before the Empire finds it and destroys it. Each faction starts with a board either on the 2 or 4 player side. In a 4-player game, it is a 2 versus 2 game. The Rebels and Empire each start with 4 leaders. Throughout the game, you recruit more leaders to join your cause and embark on daring missions. Each faction starts with 4 cards that are always in their hand. If used on a turn, they return back into your hand. All other mission cards are discarded permanently after being used. The probe droid deck contains 1 card for each planet. After placing the starting troops and ships on the board, the Rebels look through the probe droid deck and choose the location of the hidden Rebel base. The Empire wins by finding the location of the hidden Rebel base and destroying it. The Rebels try to increase their reputation by completing objective cards and moving the Rebel token towards the round tracker that advances each round. The Rebels begin the game with 1 objective card and draw another one each round. The Rebels win if the round tracker and reputation tracker meet and the Empire has not yet destroyed the Rebel base. Each round consists of 3 phases: assignment, command, and refresh. During the assignment phase, players assign their leaders to missions. Some leaders may also not be assigned to missions. Players take turns resolving missions or placing leaders on the game board to move units and potentially initiate combat. During the refresh phase, players retrieve their leaders, draw mission cards, the Empire launches 2 probe droids, and the Rebels draw a new objective card. During some rounds, the players recruit new leaders and or build new units. Populous systems can produce units. A populous system can be in one of 4 states: loyal to no one, loyal to the Rebels, loyal to the Empire, or subjugated by the Empire. If the Empire moves into a system that is not loyal to either cause and puts ground troops on the planet, it becomes subjugated. The Empire needs to send a leader on the Rule by Fear mission in order to make it loyal to the Empire. A subjugated system only produces the leftmost unit, whereas one loyal to the Empire produces both units during building rounds. The Rebels also have a card that makes a system loyal to the Rebels. Systems loyal to the Rebels produce both units. The unit symbols match with the units on the player cards. For example, Geonosis produces an orange square and a blue triangle. If Geonosis is loyal to the Rebels, it produces either a shield generator or ion cannon, and either a Rebel transport, Y-Wing, or X-Wing. The same planet for the Galactic Empire would produce an AT-AT and a TIE Fighter. The number next to the planet represents the slot of the build queue where the units go when they are produced. During the refresh phase, you deploy all your units that are in the build queue slot number 1 and move the rest down. There are 2 classes of units, ground and space. The space units also contain a number of units that they can carry when moving from system to system. Each unit has either a black or red health and rolls a certain number of black and or red dice during battle. When battle is initiated, it goes back and forth between space and ground for all units in a given system. The leader that initiated battle has numbers that allow them to draw various number of battle cards that help them with dealing damage, blocking damage, etc. Each die has 2 blanks, 2 hits which damage that color health, 1 direct hit which can damage either red or black, and 1 lightsaber. The lightsaber is used to activate certain abilities on the battle cards or lets you draw more battle cards. When you fight, you start in space and each team rolls dice equal to the dice count for all your units in the battle. When you roll damage, you choose what enemy unit to do the damage to. Once each side has rolled once and dealt damage to the other, any units that have died are removed. Battle then moves to the ground where the same thing happens, except ground battle cards are drawn instead of space cards. The battle moves back and forth between space and ground until one player's units remain in each theater. The mission cards allow you to send leaders on missions to help make planets loyal to you, gather intel, capture enemy leaders, rescue a captured leader, and more. Each leader has various symbols on them that match up with the type of mission you can send them on. When the opposing team sends a leader on a mission, you can oppose the mission with one of your own leaders with the same symbol. If you oppose, you both roll dice equal to the number of symbols on your leader or leaders. You can send more than one leader on a mission to increase the odds of it succeeding. The person attempting the mission needs to roll higher than the other player for the mission to be successful. Hits and direct hits are 1 and the lightsaber is 2. Throughout the game, the Empire is spreading out in an effort to find and wipe out the hidden rebel base. Each round, they draw 2 more probe droid cards, which tells them where the base is not. They also know that the base is not on systems where they have ground troops, since when they put ground troops on a system, the rebels have to reveal whether or not the rebel base is there. The rebel base contains troops that are on the rebel base spot, plus whatever is on the actual spot of the board where the hidden base is. The rebels have a card that allows them to move the location of the hidden rebel base, but later in the game there are fewer and fewer spots to move the base to. The rebels have a card that can place a sabotage marker on any system, which prevents the Empire from building troops there. The Empire has a counter card that removes the sabotage marker and also allows them to draw a project card, which are more powerful mission cards. They allow the Empire to go on missions like constructing a Death Star Superstar Destroyer or destroying a planet for good. The game continues until the Empire wipes out the rebel base or the rebels gain enough reputation to oppose the Empire. I've got my nephew Devin here today, who just played Star Wars Rebellion for the first time. He liked it so much he went out and bought it, right?
I did.
So what'd you think about it, Devin?
I really liked it. Star Wars is one of my favorite movie franchises of all time, so I really love the aspect of feeling like you're in your own Star Wars movie.
You're sending your little characters like Darth Vader and Obi-Wan on missions. We've actually got a story about that was really awesome, the way the game played out.
So I was playing as the Rebellion, and he was playing as the Empire. And we got old Ben Kenobi right here, and we sent him to some planet to lure the Empire into trying to capture him.
Yeah, the Empire has one card that allows you to try and capture someone from the rebels, and then you can either turn them into the dark side or freeze them in carbonite. Very thematic. So I went out to try and capture Obi-Wan.
But Obi-Wan has a card where if the Empire tries to capture him, he can sacrifice himself like he did in the movie. So we did that, and it was actually Darth Vader that tried to capture him, just like it was in the movie. So that was kind of funny.
Yeah, we didn't even try and play it out that way, and he sacrificed himself for the rebel cause, which gave them more of an advantage in the game, which was kind of a cool way that it played out. So what do you think about the components in the game?
They're really well done. I mean, it's a great game. They've got great ships, and all the little minifigures are pretty awesome. They've got a Death Star that's half built. Looks pretty sweet.
I do have one complaint though. These bins here did not come with the game. It literally just dump everything in a box when you get it. I had to pay extra to buy these storage, which I highly recommend. I'll put a link in the description for these. They're called Zen bins. I got them on Cool Stuff Inc. They're awesome. They keep it all organized, but it did not come with storage. For the amount you pay for the game, I would think you would get a few plastic trays or something. What else did you like about the game?
The Empire is very, they have a lot of advantages over the Rebels, but the one thing that balances that is the Rebels do have a lot of cards that really give them the upper hand in some certain situations. So.
Right, which is very thematic to the movie. The Empire's everywhere. They start with at least 3-4 times the number of ships and units as the Rebels. Rebels are this scrappy band fighting with their hidden base. But yeah, their cards are much better. The Empire is not so good, but just massive troops, and the goal is to kind of spread out and find the location of the hidden Rebel base.
I would say the Rebels would probably be better at running and trying to not straight on fight the Empire.
And one thing I would say is this is not just what they call an Ameritrash game, where it's just themed after a movie or a TV show, and the gameplay's not that great. The gameplay's actually excellent in this game. I think it's just really cool how the game is not evenly weighted. It is, but it isn't. Massive amount of troops for the Empire. It's true to the movie. The scrappy Rebels, but they still stand a chance because their cards are so much better.
Mm-hmm. They get Luke Skywalker, Farmer Luke. They have a chance to send him to Dagobah to turn him into Jedi Luke, which can really help them because he can do some pretty awesome things.
What did you think about the battles in the game?
The battles, they're pretty well done. If you're the Rebels and you're fighting the Empire, you better make sure you have a lot of people.
What do you think about the dice rolls?
How do they dice rolls? It's a lot of luck. So, you've got 4 ships there. You roll however many dice that gives you. You have a chance of hitting an enemy ship. You don't hit them every time.
Yeah, because there's 2 blanks on every dice. So it can get frustrating when you roll the dice and you just keep rolling blanks. What I would say to that, though, is if you play the game right, you're not reliant a ton on the dice. There will be a few battles, but make sure, like you said, well equipped for the battle. Make sure you send the right heroes in to be able to draw the ground or the air cards to be able to counter some bad dice rolls. So there's ways to mitigate the bad dice rolls, but that can be slightly annoying.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you have any negatives?
The game does take between 3 or 4 hours. Depending on how you could play, it could even take longer.
It's difficult to learn if you're playing with nobody who's played before. Mm-hmm. We had played before. We taught Devin and his brother, and they picked it up pretty quickly. But yes, it takes a long time for sure.
It does take a long time.
Who do you think this game is for, and who do you think it's not for?
Well, if you're a Star Wars fan and enjoy board games, definitely try this game out. If you can't, play a board game that lasts more than an hour, do not try this out.
All in all, what would you say? Thumbs up?
Definitely thumbs up.
Obviously, you ran out and bought the game.
Yeah.
It's an awesome
sure.
game. One of my favorites. I would say it's definitely in my top 10, maybe even my top 5. Speaking of, I need to do a list one of these days of that.
Definitely my top 5.
Awesome. Thanks for coming on, Devin. I appreciate it.
Of course. Definitely check out Star Wars Rebellion if you're a Star Wars fan.
At the end of our Vegas trip last week, we played Good Cop, Bad Cop with my cousins and aunts and uncles, and they loved it. We played a ton of it one night. Good Cop, Bad Cop is for 4 to 8 players, ages 12 and up, and plays in 10 to 20 minutes. Playing it 6 or 7 times in a row really gave us a good feel for this game. I'm going to look to spotlight this at some point in the near future. The next game we played is Machi Koro. Machi Koro is for 2 to 4 players, ages 10 and up, and plays in 30 minutes. We haven't played this one in quite a while, but we pulled it out this week with my nephews in town and had a blast. Well, at least I did. My nephew came in town right after we got back from Vegas, and we're playing Machi Koro. You purchase these cards, and then when the numbers are rolled, you get those resources. It's kind of like Settlers of Catan with cards.
It's a lot worse. I don't
Travis
like it.
is not a fan. I enjoy the game.
12, 12, 12, 12, 12, 12.
Roll of 14.
Don't get an 8.
I'm only rolling 1 dice.
Anything but an
you
8.
are?
Only one, huh?
You better roll.
Yes, get 2 coins from everyone.
Yes.
Gosh dang it.
Yay, money!
I have the deluxe edition, which comes with the Harbor and the Millionaire's Row expansions. You have to play this with at least the Harbor expansion. The base game is not that great. They really should have had the base and the Harbor included together and had first time play and then the real game. Because the base game is lame, the Harbor expansion makes it awesome. The next game we played is Cult Express. Cult Express is for 2 to 6 players ages 10 and up and plays in 40 minutes. This won the Spiel des Jahres in 2015, which is the German board game of the year. In Cult Express, everyone is a train robber and you're trying to rob the train and be the best robber. And it's set in an old Wild Wild West theme. This game is just hysterical. It's not deeply strategic, it's just fun. You play cards in this giant pile, you go around and you do all these different actions. Run, move, shoot, loot, and then you play all the cards out in order, kind of like a story. If you're looking for a good light-hearted game that plays in less than an hour and is good for families, this is a good one. The next game I played this week is Seven Wonders Duel. This is a 2-player version of the popular game Seven Wonders. It's for ages 10 and up and plays in 30 minutes. My nephew Liam and I are hanging out playing Seven Wonders Duel. What do you think so far, Liam?
Well, it's a very strategy intense game, and like every move affects the other player, so it takes a lot of thinking.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite, if not my favorite 2-player game. We went down to the Wizard's Chest this week, my favorite local game store in Denver. I took my nephews down to the Wizard's Chest. One of them liked Star Wars Rebellion so much that he wants to buy it now. I'm interested to see what they have. I haven't been here in a while. We'll see what new things they got in stock. My son talked me into an impulse buy of the game Super Hot, the card game. This is based on the video game Super Hot, where time moves only when you move. And they have it for the computer, and there's also a PlayStation VR version of it that's really fun. I have no idea how a card game is gonna play, but it is published by Grey Fox Games, who did Champions of Midgard and Deception, Murder in Hong Kong, which are 2 games that I really like. Next, we played The Mind again this week. This is for 2 to 4 players ages 8 and up and plays in 15 minutes. We played this over 10 times this week. It's one of those games where you play a quick one, 15 minutes, you finish, everyone says, let's play it again. You finish, they say, let's try it again, let's try and beat last time. If you're interested in learning more about it, go check out my spotlight that I did in episode 50. The next game we played is Werebeasts. We played this some with my cousins in Vegas before we came home. It's for 3 to 10 players ages 8 and up and plays in 15 minutes. I won't talk much about this game other than I'll say that it's a set collection game with secret identities. You're collecting certain cards, but you have to keep them secret. Otherwise, you can get out of the game. If you want to know more about Werebeasts, go check out the spotlight I did in episode 49. The next game we played is Cosmic Run. This is for 1 to 4 players ages 14 and up and plays in 30 minutes. This is a space race to discover these planets. At the end of the day, it's kind of like Yahtzee, but way better because you have the ability to buy these cards that help you modify the dice faces.
We are playing Cosmic Run with Liam here. Okay, let's see. 2 5s. I think I'll put them here. Or no. Here. 2 6s. I think I'll put them here. 4, I'll turn it into any number. So now I score here, and we score this planet. So now I get 15 points.
I get 6 and Liam gets 4. If you want to learn more about this, check out the spotlight I did in episode 43. The next game we played is Secret Hitler. Yep, we played it again. I keep thinking it's gonna just die down and stop getting played, but we played it with my brother and his kids in town this week. If you want to learn more, go check out the spotlight I did in episode 48. I do want to tell one quick little story. We were playing a game with Travis and my brother. Travis was a regular fascist and my brother was Secret Hitler. Travis drew 3 liberals as a regular fascist. What do you do when you're a fascist and you draw 3 liberals? Well, here's what you do. Travis discarded a liberal, obviously passed 2 to my brother. My brother obviously discarded 1 and then played the liberal. And then Travis said that he drew 2 fascists and a liberal. He lied about it and said that he discarded a fascist and passed 1 of each to Secret Hitler. My brother picked up on it immediately, said, yep, he gave me 1 of each, and I chose to play a liberal, which made him seem super liberal. It also made Travis seem liberal. He worked the whole table, and we voted Hitler in as chancellor and lost the game to the fascists. It was quite an advanced Secret Hitler move. And now for the news. Azul, the board game that was recently nominated for the Spiel des Jahres, is getting a sequel. It's called Azul Stained Glass of Sintra. I have no idea how different this will be from Azul. It looks like you draft stuff also. We'll have to see. And now for my new purchases. I already shared with you Super Hot. I also picked up this game on clearance at Target for $12.50 called The Wizard Always Wins. And normally I would have glossed by this game, but I know that my cousin Will and Amy in Vegas have it. I asked them if they thought it would be good for teenagers and adults, and they said they thought it would. I'll be interested to see how this plays. My last purchase is a little $5 game called Dos. This is the sequel to Uno. I had one of my viewers leave a comment requesting that I spotlight this game. We'll have to see how this one plays. The box is cracking me up. It says that world's #2 card game. Unverified statistic. That is it for this week in board games. Are there any games you would like to see me spotlight in the future? If so, leave them in the comments below. Thanks for watching. I hope this gave you some ideas of some games you can play with your family and friends. What games have you been playing? I would love to hear in the comments below. Let's start the conversation down there. Thanks everyone, and we'll see you next week. Bye.